Welcome to this next episode of Your Music, Your Story. Today, we're talking with the fellas from Home for the Day. So how's it going?
Doing good. How are you, Jeff?
Doing good, doing good. Hold on. Got a dog crawling back here.
Let him in.
She's trying to crawl down by my feet. But all right, so who do we got here from the band?
I'm Peter. I'm the vocalist.
I'm Brian. I play bass.
Ooh, we got a bass player.
I know we included him in something. Isn't it great?
Make him feel included. Oh, the bass players. So how long have you guys been a band for?
Oh, geez. So Home for the Day has been an entity for what will be 9 years in September.
What do you mean by an entity?
There have multiple people who have been in and out of Home for the Day. It has been an ever-growing struggle, but we say that the last 3 or 4 years have been the stability and the progress of everything. So if you would like a birthday, it was 2014. And if you would like we graduated and we're adults now, it was a couple years ago.
You finally matured.
Yeah.
So on your I think it's your Instagram, you guys say that you guys are dad punk, is it?
Yeah.
What does that mean exactly?
Brian, were you there for the conversation with Christian about this?
I think that was right before I joined.
Okay. So we're not quite like most pop punk bands, but we're also like adopted into the dad rock metal scene.
Okay.
So we kind of cross the barriers where both sides accept us and use us for their shows like quite often. So we've just considered ourselves like the dad punk. So it's like dad rock and pop punk just kind of had a baby, and that was us. That was the mistake.
The unwanted baby.
That's both. They want us to feel special, so they share us. It's like, co-parenting.
Christmases.
Yeah, we get 2 Christmases every year.
Who do you get to go to on the weekends?
Probably the pop punk side.
Yeah.
Okay. So has that been your style for all the iterations of the band? Has it always been that same style, or has that changed with the people that you've had?
So I feel like up to a certain point, it was straight punk, pop punk for a while. Like we had like one harder Breaking Benjamin-esque song, which that's also one of my favorite bands. I never grew up in a pop punk scene, which is also very odd for me to do what I do. But since Brian has joined in the past year or so, I think he can attest for the fact that we kind of try to balance out both. Like a lot of the songs, again, like they're punk, but they're not basic pop punk riff. It has that kind of mix in.
Yeah, so the ones that I listen to, the one song you have, was it Mascadine? Is that how you say it? And then the Changes album. So yeah. I mean, like now that you mentioned Breaking Benjamin, yeah, I could definitely hear that it's definitely a lot harder, or a lot more of a harder riffs in some of those.
Mm-hmm.
And the acoustic style.
Yeah, we kind of take the fact that we're like great value, a day to remember, and if Breaking Benjamin kept doing Polyamorous every album,
the better of the albums.
That's right, was good.
Yeah. All right, well, fun. So your last one, the one song you did, that Mascadine, that was your single that you did last year? Was it 2000 or this year?
It was this year.
A summer night turns into fall. A couple kids who want it all. The open road winding unknown. We packed our bags and left from home. could be. But I'm far from the start. I'm gonna take it slow so I can try and see. Not looking back, not looking back. I'm gonna need some time to find the best of me. Not looking back, not looking. I'm gonna take it slow so I can try and see. I'm gonna need some time to find the best of me. I spent 2 days in Denton, drove 13 to Knox. I stood on the dock blocks of South Little Rock. Atlanta was empty, my voice wasn't heard, but we knocked loose the feeling of feeling our worst. I spent 2 days in Denton, drove 13 to Knox. I stood on the dock blocks of South Little Rock. Atlanta was empty, my voice wasn't heard, but we knocked loose the feeling of feeling our worst. Whatever thought I'd be, whatever thought I'd be, whatever thought that I would be who I wanna be. Whatever thought I'd be, whatever thought I'd be, whatever thought that I would be who I wanna be. I'm gonna take it slow so I can try and see. Not looking back, not looking back. I'm gonna need some time to find the best of me. I'm gonna take it slow so I can try and see. I'm gonna need some time to find the best of me. I'm gonna take it slow. I'm gonna take it slow. I'm gonna need some time. Whatever I'll say. I stood on the dark blocks of South Little Rock. Atlanta was empty, my voice wasn't heard, but we knocked loose the feeling of feeling our worst.
God
Oh!
Okay. What's that song about?
Brian, do you want to talk? I'll let you talk.
Yeah, I can. So, well, actually, I probably shouldn't answer this because I wasn't there for most of what Muscadine's about.
Will you just say that you like it and then I'll talk?
Muscadine for me personally is about grapes. No. No, so Muscadine is pretty much a culmination of our touring adventures. Specifically, what was it? The winter tour, spring tour?
The first one, the first weekender we did, mixed with some of the big 2 weekend one, not 2 weekend one, but 2 week one.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Muscadine is about tour life. A lot of the things we face, how they started, which the verses kind of like explain the traveling aspect of the time frames and kind of the scenery. And really, to me personally, I feel like the chorus is more about growing up through everything that we've been through. 'Cause again, Home for the Days has been around for almost a decade now, and it's been a really harsh decade to get to the point that we're at, to where we're now finding the final success and stability. So we grew up from all that point, and even with each other, we're growing up through those aspects as well. And then you hit like the bridge right before the breakdown, and it's like a little mini story of all the things that happened on our first like little 5-day run where we went out to Texas and came back. And it was one of those things where you like had to be there because we had all this stuff planned. It was a tour. Like it was that 5-day like, oh my God, this was our first tour, and this is, I can't believe all this stuff happened to us kind of ordeal.
Are we ever going to do this again?
And we did, and we finished the song after the second tour, which was 2 weeks, because I had nothing for that second verse at all. And then I kind of took everything for some things that happened in it and put it together. And you had one whole song about a grape.
Oh, fun. So now was this 2 different tours? So you had a 5-day tour down to Texas, and then you did a 2-week tour after that, or is
Yeah.
this one tour?
No, so it was 2 different tours. So in I'm gonna lose. I think it was 2021. We did our first ever like out of state. Oh my God, are we gonna sleep in a car tour? And it started off in Atlanta, Georgia, where we managed a room at the Masquerade, which is like a 3-tiered venue. So you have purgatory, hell, and heaven. And heaven is like the big daddy room, and hell is like the
The
all
little
right,
one.
you're famous, but like you're not getting into heaven. And purgatory is like you asked us really nicely and we let you have it, even though you shouldn't have. And so we got in that, and when we were in that room, next to us in hell was Knocked Loose, sold out.
Oh, really?
They actually came in after their show and saw the set of the guys that we were touring with, who were essentially covered Knocked Loose. The second they walked in, they did Counting Worms.
Hold up, we need to do this real quick.
So it just happened to be hilarious timing that it happened, and they were like, "Wow, okay," and we're like, "Oh my god, oh my god!"
So they didn't know that.
They had no clue. They were so focused on like the 3 people in the room jamming out that they had no clue Knocked Loose was side stage, just watching them cover Knocked Loose.
Hopefully it went well.
Yeah. So then we kept going. We had to kind of divert where we were going because we were supposed to play Houma, Louisiana, which we're actually going to do on an upcoming tour, because the hurricane that season came through and destroyed the venue, ripped the roof off. So we went to Little Rock, Arkansas to try and play a place called Vino's Pizza. And the one block in Little Rock has no power, and that's where it is. So we stay the night, we go to Texas, we play a house show. We wake up the next morning. It was great. You know, we're getting ready to go to Memphis. And as we're eating at a Whataburger, the person who hosted us that night called him like, "Hey, I just had a band drop. Do the 2 of you want to split a set for a festival that we're doing today?" And we all kind of look at each other like, if we do this, we have to drive 13 and like a half hours straight to Knoxville, Tennessee. Are we going to do this? And we're like, yeah. And so we played the festival, drove straight to Knoxville, played that, and went home. And then later on, we did like a big Mac Daddy 2-week tour, all the way up the East Coast, like Virginia Beach, Philly, Long Island, Rochester, came back down. Like it was a big shebang. I didn't know if I was gonna make something like that. Like, 5 days was, something enough, but we had never been on the road that long. We've never sang or played that many days in a row. And it was just a super awesome experience. Unfortunately, Brian was not there. This was pre-Brian, but he's getting ready to go on this next one with us that we have next month.
Oh, fun. So when you did that one in 2021, that was during COVID.
Yeah, it was right after. So we were all panicking because all these venues were like, "You need your shots, you need your cards, you need this." Like, I'm like, any show could get canceled right now. It was scary. It was real scary.
Yeah, that would have been a suck, especially if we went out to Texas. No, we canceled. That would have been rough.
I know. 21-hour drive to not play.
So where'd you go in Texas? I mean, that is a far drive. Holy cow.
So we met another artist called Pennyboard on this pop punk group, and we kind of got into their music, and we kind of wanted to go out that way, and we had talked our way into having a show. It was there with a band called Undercurrent, and that kind of fell through. And so they were really nice to host it at their house in Denton, which is also where the festival they ran was, called Sick Tight Fest, which is a super cool festival that they've kind of kicked in. Like, we played the first one, and they were kind enough to invite us to come play the second one, which was a 1-day thing. So we left at like 4 a.m, drove us straight 21 hours to Texas, slept in a hotel for 3 hours. Brian was here for this one though. Played the festival, midday, hottest point, 105 degrees. went back to their house. They had an after party, and I'm like, I'm dead. I can't do this. I'm gonna sleep on the couch while they beer pong in my face. Wake up late and do another like 22 hours straight back home to North Carolina.
Holy cow.
It was fantastic.
It was the best thing ever.
It sounds like it was. So where do you have where's your tour coming? What do you say, next month? Where's that to?
So this one, we're starting at my house. I have a house venue that we call the Hope House. So we're starting here. We're going on a run with a band called Close Enough. They're from Roswell. We actually met them at that show with the Masquerade with Knock Loose. They played it with us, and we've become buddy with them. And then we're gonna go play Arcadia Studios in North Myrtle Beach. We have like a Jacksonville Daytona date that's to be announced. We're doing Will's Pub in Orlando, Florida. We're actually going to get to play Intercoastal at Houma, Louisiana this time, so that's going to be really exciting. We're playing the Nick in Birmingham. Knoxville is either going to be at some skate shop or a house show, and then we're ending it at Close Enough's house because they have a house venue called the Mayhem House, so it's the Hope and Mayhem tour.
Oh, that's kind of cool. How long is it?
This one will be a week. We're gonna save another big potential 2-weeker, a little more next year for the whole decade run. That way, if we die after that, then we at least did something big again.
You had a big triumph.
Yeah.
Well, fun for you guys. So when you guys book your tours, do you guys find the places to play? Or you when you would say you partnered up with the other band, you just kind of work with them and find places?
So it depends. Brian, I feel so bad. You're just smiling right now, and you're like, Peter knows all the answers to everything.
I'm just here to look good.
I appreciate you. Thank you for making me look bad.
Go team.
Our drummer, Christian, he does a lot of the booking for that. He's got a little portfolio of all the places we've gone. Because the other 2 times we went on tour was with a really like close brother band of ours that he was helping out, and then it was actually his second band when we did our second tour. So both of them went off. They were just born, like they had played a show at a venue in Charlotte to like announce themselves, and they played my house the day after. And so he double dutied it for those whole 12 days.
Oh wow.
Which is gnarly. I mean, absolutely
Yeah.
gnarly. So he does all that. If other bands, like we've gone on tour with a band called Come Clean before, if they have suggestions, we kind of work together. The same thing with Close Enough. Like they're trying to help us in Florida and potentially like Pensacola if we do need to reroute anywhere. We all work together. We're not a bunch of bitchy people.
Not a bunch of divas out there.
No, not at all.
Look at this.
Peter's a little bit of one, but
I get my
Minute.
little pretty girl sass is what I get.
The pretty girl sass. Oh dear, that's awesome. That's what I like to hear. Because that's always frustrating to get some of those one divas that just are irritating. I've been lucky enough in my band life to only play with maybe 2 or 3 of them.
How bad were they? I gotta ask.
Well, one of them, I just remember one. So I didn't have a car at this point. My car broke down, so I borrowed my brother's car so I could take my drums to the show. And this dude calls me up. He's like, "Hey, man, can I bum a ride?" I'm like, "All right, whatever. Yeah, I don't know. Cool." I go over to his house. He lives at home. They had 5 cars in the driveway. He just didn't want to ask one of his parents to take a car. I'm like, dude, really, you're gonna make me borrow a car to come and pick you up because you don't even just want to ask to use a car? And yeah, he was one that, like, we got a big old argument. We were working on an album, and we're like, okay, let's just focus on a couple songs, and the rest is, just fill them in. They're not that they're garbage. Let's just fill them in. He goes, "Every song I write is going to be a masterpiece." We're like, no, that's okay, whatever. He was weird. He was odd.
I can think of about 5 people off the top of my head I know pretty intimately like that.
Do tell.
For legal purposes, I will not be name dropping any of these.
What if we call Bob and Stu?
There's a couple people in the outskirts of what I would consider our local scene that are like that. Um, the best way I can describe it is ego. There's a lot of ego with a couple people.
Oh yeah.
And egos or no goes where we come from.
Nope.
For sure. I think those, I had one friend that I played with in high school. It was just me and him. We went to this party out in the desert and they're like, hey, can we play? So we just went up there, me and him, and played some other dude's set. It was awesome. I mean, probably everyone was drunk. We probably did terrible. I don't know. But it was awesome. Just, all right, let's just show them play. We don't care. Those were the fun shows to me.
That was our acoustic set at Brewstock.
So, okay, on that one, so I saw you guys post on something on Instagram where you guys all had acoustic guitars. Is that kind of what you were talking about?
Yeah. So to kind of go in reverse a little bit, I help organize a festival with a couple other people called Brewstock Music Fest. And we've played it the past 2 or 3 years. And this year I was like, I don't want to play it because I get there at like 7 o'clock and I'm busting my ass. And then they want me to play a set. And I'm like, no, because we're very high energy. I'm not the kind of person to sit around and sing a couple words. Like I gotta be moving around. I gotta have crowd interaction. And so they begged and begged. They're like, please, please, just come on, play. It's not the same. And I'm like, okay. So I talked to the guys. I'm like, what if we just did acoustic? And they're like, only if it's acoustic. And I'm like, okay.
Fine.
And so we did an acoustic after party after the headliner.
Oh, so that was like after everything.
Yeah.
Oh man, how long did you guys play for?
What, 45 minutes, Brian? I don't think it was an hour.
No, it was, yeah, I think 45 is pretty spot on.
We had a potential list of things you may hear, and I think we did like the main originals we kind of wanted to, and as long as somebody was like featuring on one of the covers, we still kind of did it. I think there was one or two we didn't manage, but it was fun. I mean, everyone was singing along, and that's something really heartwarming to still have, 50 some people left after what this sold out festival was because they wanted to see the headliner, and they've been there all day, you've been there all day, and you're all hanging out having a good time drinking those last minute beers before the bar goes.
And then there you guys are.
Yep, and there's us.
It was really nice. Pretty much every song we did, you couldn't hear the instruments or the mics because everybody was just singing so loud.
It was strange, like it, and it was such like an echoey because it's a smaller room for the inside. So it was kind of intimate. It was cool. I hadn't had something like that in a really long time, like probably high school, when I had enough people like that singing along.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah,
So-
that was a first for me. It was an experience.
What, playing an acoustic set? Or
No, I've done plenty of acoustic sets. Just to have that, yeah, like I said, you couldn't hear us on the stage, even though we were all mic'd up and singing into mics. It was just a bunch of people just kind of drunk and tired and feeling the shitty energy we're putting out.
just having a gay old time.
Oh, absolutely.
So I don't remember from the picture. I don't remember seeing like a bongo or anything. So did your drummer do anything? Did he play anything? I don't remember.
So initially, he was supposed to be there, and then he had a family thing to do in Florida, which somehow also ended up as an engagement. So him and his girlfriend are now engaged. So big congratulations to our boy Christian. So yeah, he wasn't there with us. However, I did bring a cajon in case somebody wanted to come up and do something, and I totally didn't bring it in. But there was like this little 4-piece bongo set that towards the end of it, some guy went over and just did his best.
Did at least get somewhat in time?
No, he didn't do the song. He definitely didn't. I'm blurring real hard. I don't know what happened.
I don't know. Maybe the camera's drunk.
Oh well.
So Peter, how'd you get into promoting shows as well and booking shows? And you talked about you had a venue at your house. Like, how'd you get into that?
So, all jokes aside, because it's a song lyric, I come from a very small town in North Carolina, where I've moved to, called Taylorsville, and I mean it's that typical nothing backwoods, and you went to school and you have all these kids who want something like, every teen center closed down because some hardcore band came through and ruined it, and every rec center would stop letting shows happen because someone came through and ruined it. So I started hosting them out of my house. I've had tons of people come through, all sorts of bands come through. The goal is to just keep bringing different music into the area for people to discover. So we kind of evolved that into charity shows, which is why we call it the Hope House, and an organization we do called House Shows for Hope. So bands would come and we'd all raise money and supplies for different organizations in need, which definitely evolved into something bigger, because when I purchased my first house, it ended up having this basement the length of the entire house, put a studio in it, built a stage, and the guy who was producing us at the time, who's my best friend, Steven, and he's like, hey man, I think I just figured out a way to like stream shows on Twitch. And I'm like, you fucking serious? He's like, yeah.
Like, hell yeah.
He's like, yeah, I think I figured out with this mixer, we can just do live shows over Twitch like you're listening to an album. I'm like, all right, well, let's do it. And we started that up during COVID, where nobody could play. We were like a huge hot spot. Like I was hit up almost every day with bands trying to come in here and play a show, because they knew people couldn't be here, but everyone could still watch them. They could still promote. They could still have fun. They were leaving with content because now they have a whole streamed set of them doing their thing. It's something that they can go and show people, like a whole EPK edition. So it's really cool. It became more and more of a thing for me, to bring that new music, like I said, and I get to meet these people and connect with them. That way, Home for the Day can go out to other places and host touring bands. So I wouldn't say that I'm super, super professional outside of Brewstock, which is the only other thing I do. And that's really like a big vote shebang. Like we take submissions and we're like, all right, we like you, you're in. It's not like I reached out to this band and like, play the fest. So I'm definitely mediocre promoter for a house, but that's about it.
Hey, it's good enough. But that's still pretty cool that you're doing. Are you still doing those the Twitch shows?
Yeah, no, we still are. I took a short break. Me and my wife just had a baby back in October, so I didn't want loud music rattling a baby's ears. Which now she's just used to band practice. She enjoys it. She knows my songs and she gets kind of hyped up upstairs when she hears them. But no, we still do them. We actually have that. The start of the tour is actually one, so it'll be streamed on Twitch. And it's our studio's name is Top Heavy Productions. It's one word, so that'll be August 18th.
Dang, that's pretty cool. So, what kind of a crew do you have just to do that, or do you just have one of you guys doing the sound, one running the camera, or and that's all it is?
So the camera is switched. We have a switcher. So I used to have three. But then the guy that I was doing with Steven at the time, he bailed. He's like, hey, I'm done with music. Like, I know you still want to do it, so here's all the stuff that you need. I'll take some of my investment back. So I have one camera right now. I'm going to work on getting some more again, but we would just sit back here. He would mix. I would switch the cameras and go like swap bands and redo the mics and stuff. And that's what we would do. We'd sit back here and hang out, listen to music. I mean, people would come in, they'd have their fun. And even if nobody came, I mean, there's, by the time the stream is done, I mean, 100 some, 200 some people just watched you on the internet.
Oh, heck yeah. That's awesome. I'm mildly envious. That'd be freaking cool.
You should check one out. You should check out the one on the 18th.
Yeah. So, well, yeah, I don't know anything about Twitch, so I'll have to figure that out.
You don't have to have an account if that makes you feel any better.
I've heard such things. That's all I know. Because I talked with one of the ska bands, Bite Me Bambi. They do, I guess, a lot of stuff like that on Twitch. And I've heard like people playing video games and
yeah, it's primarily a big video game platform. So we did a lot of research, and like nobody is still doing what we're doing. Like bigger venues, might have a camera set up and might be like recording what's going on, but they're not like intaking the audio real time and having it there where the bands can talk to you and they can ask you questions and stuff like that. So
okay. So yeah, it's like I say, I don't know much about Twitch. So it's kind of like a live So it's not okay. The band comes in, they record and play, and then they go and post it on Twitch later. So as they're playing, it's up. So it's like a live show, basically. Is that how that works?
It's
Yeah.
completely live, real time. Like the second we go live, I have a projector. We pull it down, we put the chat up, and people are like, "Yo, what's up?" And the band's like, "What's up?"
That is awesome.
And they'll talk back and forth with them. We had one band play that was like, "Hey, this is a new song. I have no lyrics, so whatever you guys put in the chat is what I'm gonna sing."
That could end poorly.
It did, but it was great. I mean, most of the time you're singing, and then all of a sudden someone's like, "This makes me so moist," and you have to stop.
It'd be like, what?
Oh, Peter, for August 18th, we need to get a cheesecake.
Okay,
Uh-oh.
why?
Bring that back.
Are things about to get real?
They
From
usually,
Villain's
Yep.
live stream.
I mean, it'll be the first time you've played my house since your live stream in another band, so why not?
Oh dear. I don't that is pretty that's cool that you do that. That's cool that you've done that for other bands.
It's just a way to give back, man. I try to do what I can. I probably promote more bands than my own band at that point.
But yeah, I mean, because I think a lot of people when they play like local bands, I don't think hardly any of them have recordings of their shows because there's not a whole lot of places that do it. Like there's a place over here in Riverside that we used to play. It's called Mission Tobacco Lounge. The only thing that's really important about that place is Kerry King from Slayer would always be there.
Oh, sick.
That's about the only thing. We talked about the podcast the other day that we played a show there, and then our bass player went and photoshopped him into playing with us in one of the pictures. But anyway, that guy. So they gave us a recording, and it was just so atrocious. Like all you heard was the bass drums. Sometimes you could hear a guitar and the bass, and that was it. It was just a mumbled mess. So I was saying, yeah, I don't think I've ever played a show where you actually heard any kind of worthwhile recording even after. And then you guys are actually doing videos and having a live show.
And we've done it like it takes 2 computers, which is a mess, but we can also have a laptop hooked up with like PreSonus up, and we can also give you a live studio album from what you just did. And a couple of people have released them. We had like a big grand finale one where we brought one act back and he did an acoustic set. And like the next morning he had already taken it all and put up alive at the Hope House on his Bandcamp and everything.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah, it was really, really cool.
So how do you run 2 computers off that? Like how one's just doing the audio, one's doing the video?
Yeah. That way it takes the stress from using too much CPU usage.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, but no, they're really cool, man. If you get a chance, please look it up. Like I said, Top Heavy Productions. We switched to YouTube for a while, so if you're more comfortable with YouTube, it's also on there. Everything you'll see will be like Hope House Live. But I think some of the better ones are definitely on Twitch.
I will have to Google this. So Brian, how long have you been in the band?
Oh man, what, Peter, like a year and a half now, a little over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started back in 22.
It was right after
Yeah.
we stole you from Villain, technically.
Yeah, and
But-
then Villain collapsed.
Yeah.
So I joined in 22, and I've just kind of been, doing what I can, hanging out with the guys, doing all these amazing shows, all these great causes. It's honestly no shit talking about like any of the other bands I've been in, but as far as what we're doing, I've never had this much fun.
Oh,
Just purely based on the music we're playing and the people I'm playing it with.
so you were playing another band. Were you looking for another band? And you were just, hey, let me join another one, and how that could work out?
So the short answer is no. I was in a band called Villain Over Heroes, and we had been going for right at 2.5 years at that point. Things were kind of slowing down for us. Our vocalist had been picked out of us to go play bass for another local band called Dying Oath. And after that, things really started slowing down. And I had been a fan of Home for the Day for a couple of years at that point.
Which was funny.
And
We had never actually met either.
yeah,
Like I knew about
I think he might be. I
Oh,
think
hold
he
on.
might be.
I don't know what that was. There was an ad that just popped up and tried to go to Twitch, and now suddenly there's an ad something about he might be. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry
I
for
thought it was all relevant for a second. I thought you had one of those soundboards. I'm like, hey, he knows what he's doing.
I actually do. Let me see if I can get it. Well, I know I got it turned off because it's got like all these sounds in it.
Yeah.
But sometimes they just go off in the middle of nowhere before you it even pushes. So I have them all muted. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
But no, I actually officially met the Home for the Day crew at AmpFest 2020. Was it 20? Yeah. And so like I said, I'd been following the band for 5 or so years at that point, knew the songs and everything. And a couple more encounters happened where I would come to a show for the last song, go up with them and fuck up the words. And then my band Villain, we played a Hope House show, and after the show, they're like, "Hey," Peter came up to me, he's like, "Hey man, I'm really fucking sick and tired of playing bass and singing. Come play bass." And so I said, "Okay," and it's been uphill ever since there.
Oh, nice. So did you quit the other band?
No, I didn't quit. The other band kind of just kept slowing down until it just came to a halt, and we all decided that, you know, we all have other interests, and so we just ended things.
Yeah, that happens. Band life.
Yeah, we're all still good friends, and we hang out like weekly. We do Dungeons and Dragons, so we all still see each other on a regular basis.
Oh, Dungeons and Dragons, huh?
Yeah.
I know nothing of the only Dungeons and Dragons I know is me and my brother, we met this guy. He's like, "Yeah, we're gonna go play Dungeons and Dragons." We're like, "Okay, we'll come." Apparently, the dungeon master and this dude had a grudge, so when we showed up, he just killed us right off the bat, trying to kill the other guy. So
Oh my
we're
God.
like, "Well, what do we do now?" That was my only Dungeons and Dragons experience.
I'll be honest. I'm not much. I like all that medieval stuff. Like I love Skyrim. I love everything like that. It's just, I've never gotten into actual Dungeons and Dragons, and I went with a buddy once, and that whole group that he was with, like I didn't play. I just kind of sat there. Just made me feel so unwelcomed, and I just looked at him like, "Hey man, I'm gonna walk back to the house and go play RuneScape."
I don't feel wanted here.
I'm so sorry the two of you have had such negative experiences. It's so much fun.
I've heard things. My sister and her family, they'll play. So and they love it.
Ah, shit, they didn't rewind it.
Rewind it, dude. We missed it.
Never knew what I couldn't see, and that's the danger when you
No Man Left Behind was my, hey guys, my Breaking Benjamin song's gonna be right here, kind of thing.
Got to put this one in here.
And I knew I wanted it to have a feature. And at a festival, one time we met this band called A War to Win. They're from South Carolina. They had asked us to swap spots with them because they had people coming at a later time, and we're like 3 hours away. And I'm like, yeah, go for it. No one's coming for us. And that kind of made the cross friendship because after we played earlier, they came back and one guy was like, "You have really big A Day to Remember vibes. I love that." I'm like, "Oh, thank you so much." And we'll catch your set. And the minute they started, I'm like, "This is a band."
Hell yeah.
And the way his voice, he's so well trained. He's been doing it for so long. Cam, the vocalist, is an absolute angel, a sweetheart, and he's such a powerhouse. He's got so much depth in his voice. And the minute I heard their first song, I'm like, this is the guy I need on this.
Nice.
We kind of built that friendship, and we had him on there. I knew that one of the songs, the acoustic one, If I Could, I had that one since high school. It was supposed to be me and another friend, and we had this falling out due to a couple of other things. And so there was another friend that we had been around with who had been helping out the band and coming around named Autumn, and we brought her on for it, and it was really cool to kind of combine both those talents.
And if I could fly away so I could change these days, things would be better. Things would be better if I could save my identity, stop all of these tragedies. I would. Yes, I would. And it's the will that holds me together. The soul side of it all, it helps me comprehend, so I can understand what's in front of me, so I don't fall over and over. We all start again. Then comes the time to drop the words or pretend. Over and over through all of the tears. Follow me now, 'cause there's nothing to fear. And if I could get away, change who I am today, things would be better. Things will be better when I would check this reality, live off all my memories. I'll survive. Yes, I'll survive. And it's the strength that keeps me together. Lost in it all, 'cause I can comprehend and I can understand what's in front of me. I won't fall. Over and over we all start again. Then comes the time to drop the words or pretend. Over and over through all of the tears. Follow me now, 'cause there's nothing to fear. Over and over we all start again. Then comes the time to drop the words or pretend. Over and over through all of the tears. Follow me now, 'cause there's nothing to fear. Nothing to fear. Nothing to fear.
I really like having the features. It's fun. You get to do a lot of different things. You get to spotlight the people,
Oh, that's awesome.
which I actually don't think we're gonna have any on this upcoming one, just because we've done so many.
So, when you guys play the shows, if they're there, can they come up and sing them, or
Absolutely.
how often does that happen?
100%. The first time, and I'm pretty sure it was after the 2-week tour, because we tried to spotlight each song leading into the album release on each day. So whenever we played our final show in Charlotte at the Milestone, it just so happened that every feature was there. So we played the album front to back with every feature, and I'll never get to do that again. But it was awesome to just be able to do everything.
Heck yeah, that had to be awesome. Oh my goodness. Hell
It
yeah.
was such a beautiful moment for each song too.
Yeah.
And the fact that somehow we were able to manage to sell out the Milestone on a Thursday night.
It was close. It wasn't quite a sellout, but it was super close. That was a different show.
I'm counting it.
That wasn't the same show.
No, what show am I thinking
You're
of?
thinking of the album release.
Yes, that's what I was thinking of.
So the album release was supposed to be a secret drop. Like everyone knew it was going to happen, But while we were on that 2-week tour, the second night we had gotten full on confirmation that we were going to open up for Lit at Amos
What?
South. Yeah, we covered My Own Worst Enemy, and they started fucking flirting with us. So the guy who produced it shared it, and they shared his post with the tag, and we're like, what? And so that's what kind of started it. And then we did they ended up doing like a cameo thing for it where they said to check it out. We did a music video and they shared it. And then eventually they have a podcast, and it was an episode for My Own Worst Enemy. And every time they talk about a song or a band, they have a playlist that they add them in. And they talked about bands that covered it, and smack in between like two way bigger bands than us, they mention us.
And you're like, woohoo.
Yeah. So we're now on their Spotify playlist with our cover. And then it finally got to the point to where when they were coming to Charlotte, I had a buddy in the booking company and he had got us on the show. And then the show was supposed to be like a secret album release, like the place was going to be packed. We'd go on stage. Hey, we're dropping an album tomorrow night. You can go check it out right now on Bandcamp, stream it on the way home, like big ordeal. And like a week before the show, Lit's like, hey, we don't want to play no more.
You're like, damn it.
And that was the opening date for the tour too. So they ditched it for a festival in South Carolina. And now we are sweating because we've planned all of this. People bought tickets. We made the physicals. And I'm like, we were gonna do this on a Thursday night, and there's no way to save this now. So the Milestone had the day open, and essentially we shifted that entire show over, almost sold it out still on a Thursday. Had to get opening acts and everything like in 7-8 days and still managed it.
You're like, thanks, Lit, you turd.
Honestly. But no, please let us open for you still.
But you're still cool. I'm my own worst enemy. So when you guys play your shows, so on your Bandcamp, you guys have a lot of albums. It's like 9 or 10 albums on there, isn't it? Or something like that.
So it's got the EPs and stuff still mixed in with it. So we only actually have 3 albums and 1 cover album that never has anything added to it. But we have the first album, which was just Home for the Day. We did the redo with better mixing and mastering, which was Reconstructed, which was the first time we did like a bunch of features just to have some fun with it. And then we released Changes.
Okay, so the other ones are just EP,
Yeah,
like you're
so,
saying.
like,
You're in there.
the Week at the Seams EP was like our second EP release ever that we kind of did like as a professional note on platforms and stuff. So that's on there. There's a split EP with our friends called The Handoff, where we each did 2 songs, which we released a new song on that, and then a cover, which was Polyamorous by Breaking Benjamin. So we each did a cover, and they did one that was a mashup, super cool mashup. But I think that's it. Aside from any other singles I got on there, like I think the original Going Under single is still on there. The Muscadine single's on there.
Nice. So do you guys have a set place where when you're doing your recordings, do you go to your studio at home, or do you go to an actual studio when you do your recordings, or just depend?
So we do them here, and it's kind of been in the past. Like before, Top Heavy Productions was solely a producing company where we had like 10 or 15 bands from around the scene coming to us because we had like a decent quality recording. Like it wasn't anything amazing, but you were getting stuff for like half the price, and it was still like, you know what, this isn't bad.
Yeah.
And so we did our own for a while, and even moving here, even with him gone, we have a buddy who still produces, and he'll come here and we'll get everything recorded, and he'll mix and master it on his own time.
Nice. That's pretty cool. That's all. I guess it's convenient to have your own stuff at home.
It's convenient. I think I worry so much about going to someone and pissing them off because time frames, and I get that because I've had people walk into my studio with one riff and a tone, and we will spend 10 hours on that, and I've wasted my day, my buddy's wasted his day, and it's like, you fucking serious?
This is what, you jackholes. Well, that's cool. So what do you guys got planned in the future? So you talked about having a tour next month. So
Yeah.
you talked about going up and down the coast. So what else you guys got?
So we have the tour next month in August. That's the 18th through the 26th. We have what I assume will be a very dulled down 9-year anniversary in September. That's when we'll actually be 9.
You mean
in-
dulled down? It won't be as awesome.
No, well, our drummer is going to be with his other band between September and October for like 5 out of 8 weeks.
Holy crap!
Yeah, they're doing a 3-week tour with one band, and they have multiple dates in September that they've set. So we'll do our own stuff. We'll probably drop a new song that we've been working on sometime around that range. And then in October, we're talking about doing like a bunch of open mics, coffee shops. We're doing a festival in Charlotte acoustic, kind of like how we did Brewstock, but not an after party. It'll be kind of midday kind of thing. Just to still get out there and talk to people and promote things. We'll have a couple more house shows here with the Hope House. And yeah, that's pretty much it. We're just working towards the next wave of songs and just finishing out the year. We usually hibernate in the winter, so
Nothing wrong with that. Are you guys going to do albums or are you going to do singles?
as much as I hate playing the single game because I love albums and I'm a collector of albums, I think we are going to run like a couple singles and then an EP and then a couple singles and then an EP, but really it's all supposed to be one album.
So eventually, you'll just release them on a single, and eventually they would be an album, or it's just kind of they would work together on an album.
So we'll release 1 or 2, and then like when the third one comes out, we'll make like a compiled EP for those like 3 or 4 songs. And then we'll do that another time or two before you have the full version, and I'm sure we'll make physicals for all the songs together for people to buy and stuff like that.
Awesome. Do you guys do vinyl?
So we haven't on our own time, but on our 2-week tour, we got invited to Least of All recordings in Brooklyn. And what they do is they'll bring you in to record songs, and people will pre-order a little lathe cut vinyl with one song on it that you personalize for them. And so we ended up doing like 10 or 15 of those in the studio that people bought.
Oh, so you did like 10 or 15 songs, and then or what do you mean 10 or 15?
So what it's a neat business. So they book you to come do the session. They ask you what you're going to record. That way on their website they can kind of post it. So like what we did is our options were You Need People Like Me, Going Under, and I think either Sleeping for an Hour and Point Your Finger at the Bad Guy. I think those were the 4 options. And then somebody would go to their site, pick the song they wanted on the vinyl, and then that's what we would record personalized for them.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah. So they do it on like little tiny lathe cuts, and they'll send them out. So we did like 10 or 15 of those. And that was really fun. That was scary because like it's one of those mentality things where you're saying the same thing like 10 times and something's going to stumble and change. You're like, well, that doesn't sound right. Did I really sing that line last time?
I didn't even know that was a thing. So are you guys going to do that again? Like, is that a possibility? Or hey, you're like, hey, we did that, we're done.
It's totally a possibility if we ever want to do it again. I would like to do it acoustic next time. We did it as a full band, and it definitely doesn't take too well because it is like a live studio recording, like all at once. It's not like, we took the time to record a song and they pressed it on vinyl. Like it's a live take.
So mistakes and everything, you get the whole thing.
Mistakes and everything. You get what you get.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. So it's fun. I think I would like to do it acoustic again instead. And maybe not midway through a tour.
Yeah, just throw some more stress in there. Who cares? So do you play all your songs acoustically if you wanted to, or are there certain ones that you play?
We could. Even Changes, which is the hardest song on the album itself, has a very poppy acoustic version that you would never think of.
It's very pretty.
It is pretty.
It makes you sing like an angel. Well, that's awesome. So that now you say that one's up in Brooklyn?
Yes. Least of All Records.
How far of a drive is that? I mean, that's not close, is it?
No. I mean, I'm from New York, so I'm just familiar with the whole area in general. So when we were on tour, we were in Lansdale right after playing Philly. So what was supposed to be a 2-hour drive is 5 hours with Brooklyn traffic. But from where we are, I mean, that's 9 hours. But I got family, so I can go stay with family if I really wanted to.
Oh, so I mean, if you did an acoustic set, would the whole band go, or like what the drummer bring the what is it, conga? I don't know.
They had a drum kit there actually, so he could do like brushes and hit their kit if he really wanted to.
Brushes, schmrushes. Those are for jazz nerds.
You like smooth jazz.
I like smooth jazz. I have many mahogany bound books. Anyway. All right. Well, Peter Bryan, thanks for joining me today. Thanks for telling all your stories.
Thank you so much for having us, Jeff.
Makes
Yes,
me
it's been a
chuckle.
pleasure.
Good luck on your tour coming up.
Thank you.
Hopefully nothing goes wrong on this one.
I hope everything goes wrong. Someone's gonna die. Close Enough's a wild band, man.
Oh, are they like the out of control ones?
Absolutely. I thought I was gonna die at their house when we stayed there.
That's not good.
It's gonna be Nick's last
It's like
birthday.
a thrill, though. It's like a thrill die.
It's like we died, but we were having a good time. Oh, that's awesome. All right. Well, again, yeah, thanks for joining me. And we'll put some of these songs in there in the mix. You guys have videos for them?
We have videos for a couple.
Okay. I'll go through and find some of those, and we'll throw those ones in here
Cool.
if you guys don't mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please.
All righty. Well, thanks. Good luck. Is it all humid out there?
Yes.
North Carolina is nothing but wet air.
It's disgusting.
It's awful. Oh my god.
Yeah. Well, good luck. 'Cause you guys get a lot of rain during this time, right? Or is
Yep.
it in August or something like that?
So North Carolina is its own what do we want to call it?
We have its own weather system.
Biodiversity of weather. You can have spring in the morning with a nice breeze midday, and then it's 95 humid, and it'll snow later that evening.
Well, that's stupid. What a mess. Yeah, I thought we were bad. We just have it's freezing cold in the morning, and then it's hot in the afternoon. That's our California weather.
I'd rather have that than what we have.
I just
Oh,
means
yeah.
I don't have to go out in the afternoon.
Faux show. Faux show. All right. Well, yeah, you thanks for joining me, and you guys have a good afternoon.
You too. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
You're not the one I've been dreaming, but then again I'm not sleeping. You're not the one, you're not the one, you're not the one I've been dreaming. Gonna take me a while to get a grip on you, with every move I make it goes to run through. And you said I loved you, I felt that, but now I know your intentions. Hear them call out my name. When everyone's out to get me, show your teeth when I'm not looking. Play along, but now I've had enough. It's hard to focus on myself when everyone's out to get me. You're not the one I've been chasing, but then again I've been wasting. You're not the one, you're not the one, you're not the one I've been chasing. Was I meant to die for your little lie? I can't bear to swim the waters you're surrounding. I
hear them call.